Hunter's gonna get himself a PS4.
Yeah, he already has one too. Hey, YouTube, what's happening?
I'd do it.
But I'd do it because I'd take the new one over what I have right now.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you, man.
I forgot.
Okay, you ready?
Do this. Hold
Okay,
hold up.
Copyright strike for that popular tune you just hummed.
YouTube is cracking down.
That's right. What are you doing? What are you even doing right now?
I had to set an alarm because I forgot to do something I was supposed to do.
Don't forget the things to do you're supposed to do. Don't do that though. Hello, YouTube. Welcome to us waiting to start the podcast just for a few moments.
Josh,
While we do some other things.
see if you know what my alarm music is.
Okay.
Totally getting a copyright strike now.
Oh yeah, it's from that episode of Lost.
Yeah.
Of course it is. Of course it is. Okay,
Season
you
two.
got
Season 2, season premiere.
Audacity is ready to go.
That's what Desmond wakes up to.
It's good. It's a good show. I like it.
Make your own kind of music.
Copyrights everywhere this week. All this is going to be muted the first few minutes. Okay, Audacity 3.
I don't
Yep,
have mine
2.
open. Let me open it up.
Yeah, I knew that was happening.
I, for some reason, thought it was. I apologize, guys. I apologize.
Apologize.
I forgot that I don't.
Brian North.
I forgot that I don't ever open it because if I open it before I plug in my mic, sometimes it doesn't register it. So I was way
Fair. No, it's fair.
Pulling back the
So
curtain.
Brian North never came to the podcast the other night.
Oh, he did,
on
and then
his
he left.
way?
So
he never
we
came to
should talk
record.
about that later.
I
He
listened to the
did.
episode.
No, he showed up. But his phone was at like 5%, and that's what he charges it on. So he's like, I have to wait to charge my phone for a few minutes. And we're like, what?
He charges what?
I don't ask questions sometimes. So he just left.
Oh my gosh.
We're like, yeah. He's like, I'm just going to go. We're like, okay.
I kind of wish I was hosting the debate thing and not Brian, but whatever. Hey, live Brian, if you're watching this. On YouTube.
Oh, yeah. Sure, Brian North. He's watching right now. Star Wars Rant Podcast. Go ahead and head over to the debate this week. All right, let's go. 3, 2. What's up, everybody? It's the South Dakota Gamer Podcast, episode number 118. We have joined you once again to give you all the amazing video game news that you can use and all the fun things we've been doing. Dave has his ADHD fidget spinner. He's putting it in his mouth. Dave, welcome to the podcast this week. Are you spinning it and putting it on your teeth?
Well, I was trying to bite down on the centerpiece while the rest of it was spinning.
What's wrong with you?
Okay.
Also joining us, not doing weird stuff, Josh Owens.
Hey, it's me, Josh Owens. I'm just, good Lord. I'm just going to say, I'm not sure that I started my recording at the same time everybody else did. I got a real glitchy situation happening whenever you were saying that. So, sorry.
Okay.
But hello
That's fine.
to all of the audience.
It will line you up. All right, well, welcome. We are here. We are going to talk to video games as we always do. But first, before we get started, we would like to say, if you're interested in supporting us on Patreon, you can head over to patreon.com/South Dakota Gamer. Toss us $1 or $2, and we would appreciate it, 1. And 2, it would automatically enter you into a giveaway that we are happening to do. Dave, why don't you tell the folks the giveaway?
Hey, that's right. It's our giveaway for the South Dakota Gamer Podcast. That is this one that you're listening to. and we're giving away a PS4, which is our biggest prize that we're giving away out of all of our prizes, which have been pretty cool up to this point. I'm not going to get into it very much in depth. We've already talked about it in the last 2 or 3 episodes. Basically, every month until November, we're going to give a different way that you can enter into this contest. And if you support us on Patreon for all of those months as well, you'll have a maximum of 12 entries if you do that with all the things. And we're also, throughout the next 6 months, going to throw out surprise ways that you can enter. So you can get more than 12, but you have to be able to listen. And also, an important thing is if you don't submit your entry using that whatever that month's form of entry is by the cutoff point, which is the end of that month, you are not, anything that comes in after that through that method is not accepted. So get your entries in this month. All you got to do, other than support us on Patreon, if you don't want to do that, that's perfectly fine. But another way for free entry is to just rate our podcast on iTunes and subscribe to us and take a picture of it and send it to us to prove to us that you did that. All right. And you can possibly win a PS4. It's pretty simple, folks. But until then, see you in another life, brother.
All right. No.
I knew that was coming as soon as he said, see you in another life, brother.
Yep. YouTube is totally.
What's the matter,
okay
Chad?
with that? No, it's fine.
I
So
didn't
there
play
you
the whole
go.
song.
Time limit is. I know there's a cutoff for seconds, but I'm sure we made it fine. Let's get into this week, and our new releases, as always, are brought to us by a good friend, Patreon supporter, waiting for the twins to show up. Had an opportunity to have the twins born on my birthday, and he missed the boat on that one, but that's okay. No pressure.
Way to screw it up, Andy.
No, that's not what I was saying.
Oh, sorry. No. Okay.
Opposite.
Sorry. Love you, Andy. Good job on having twins. You're great.
So he's supporting this segment as always, and his word of the week is to give us the description of what this word is. Funambulist.
Chad.
Funambulist.
You're my friend, Chad, and I love you, but you're stupid. It's obviously
I'm not going to deny that.
funambulists, and it's fun ambulance.
Funambulists.
Very simple.
Okay.
It's fun. I'm actually disappointed.
Fun what?
I didn't find something
Funambulists.
that was
There you
more
go.
unique than this word. But fun ambulance, which is basically a clown that drives an ambulance.
Yeah, I was thinking of the Joker.
Ooh, I like that one. I like that
You
one.
don't have to be a clown. You just have to be fun. And you have to be in an ambulance.
You have to be a fun person.
Okay.
that drives
Not
an
only but you can't just be a fun person in an ambulance, because this isn't fun ambulance rider. This is fun ambulance.
It's an ambulance.
Which means you have to be the person operating the ambulance.
You have to be ambulisting
Yes, exactly.
in order to be considered. I got it. Okay. I like that. Just a thought on my end. I'm going to say that maybe it has something to do with people whom are ambidextrous and fun. They got a good personality and they can do stuff with both sides of their bodies.
My second option would be another strange denomination of Baptist.
Also a good option.
Funambulists. Sure.
Yeah.
Fair. Well, I tell you, both great. All three, actually, great. However, none of them are right. The correct definition.
Who was closest?
The one that said that was closest to a tightrope walker.
I said clown.
Okay.
Circus? Clown?
All right.
That's probably the closest. Yeah.
That's the
A
closest
tightrope
one.
walker
Yep.
is a funambulist.
All right, Dave wins by horseshoe rules.
Yep.
Yep. Hands, grenades, and horseshoes and stuff. So there you go. Thank you, Andy. We appreciate words
That's a good one.
that get us the crazy. Here comes a funambulist, tightrope walker driving ambulance right now.
I don't.
Down
That's not a
Josh's
fun
road.
one. That's just an annoying one.
That's a Chicago one.
As many
All right,
times
so let's
as
get
it happens, I don't understand how there's still any alive people in the entire city. I don't understand what happens. I don't understand.
yeah, Chicago. It's a bet. It's my kind. No, that's not. Yeah, Chicago's my kind of town.
Chicago,
Right?
Chicago, that toddling town. Chicago, Chicago, they'll gun you down.
So, Dave, why don't you let us know what the new releases for this week?
Well, Chad, I'll tell you. The first
All right.
one for the PS4 and the Xbox One on May 16th. One that my son,
It's all about recoveries this week.
my oldest son, is very excited about getting this one, as he's already texting me and asking me for money to buy Injustice 2. And if most people know what Injustice games are. It's a DC fighter style games, similar to like the old school Mortal Kombats and Killer Instinct and Street Fighter and all of those games. But it's pretty fun. I mean, it's got a whole story to it that has a comic book line that Chad obviously knows very much about. So it's got its own little story within the DC universe, which is cool. I enjoyed it, and I don't like fighting games very much. I just like it for the comic book heroes. Also on May 16th for the PC, PS4, and Xbox One is The Surge. This is a video game made by Drinkbox Studios about the old power energy drink called The Surge.
I knew that was coming. Yeah, it was good. Pure green sugar
All
water,
right.
basically.
I mean, that might be a joke, but I would play that video game. I gotta say.
I didn't look any of these up because I've only had 7 hours at home in the last 2 weeks, guys, and I got home like an hour before the podcast started.
Well, Dave,
Got a
that
lot to
just
cover.
sounds like a
Anybody
big-
know what The Surge really is? It's just
Mm-mm.
anything like The Purge, but just done like really fast, maybe.
I like the soda one better, so let's stick with that.
Okay. Well, also on May 16th for the PS4 and Xbox One, Seasons After Fall, also known as Winter.
Yes.
Don't know why they
Good.
decided to say it like that, but
Save
There
money
you go.
just to use fewer words.
that'll be available on the PS4 and the Xbox One. Also on May 16th for the PC, PS4, and Xbox One, For Honor, Shadow and Might DLC. Or if you're Josh, Shadow and Might Dilk. Parentheses PC, PS4,
Okay.
Xbox One. Close parentheses.
I don't know why I just got singled out there.
Well,
I don't know
because
what's
last week you read something and you said parentheses Switch. Parentheses. It's like,
yeah,
oh,
I get it.
Josh, that means that it's on the Switch. I don't know why I decided to also make up that you don't say DLC and you actually pronounce it.
Right.
Not
Yeah.
wrong.
But
I've been
anyways,
wondering how to pronounce that the whole time. So
I heard something interesting about For Honor, and I only played this for all about like 47 seconds before I completely. I didn't back out to the main menu. I just deleted it off of my PlayStation 4. But I did hear, and it's interesting because it's a kind of a play on words. But there's an honor system within For Honor where some of these people, if they're on one-on-one fights, and you come up to them, it's like now become a thing within the community where you wait until that fight's done. You don't gang up on the person. It's like an honor
Screw
system,
that.
which I think is pretty interesting.
screw that. It's a video game. I'm gonna play it to win it. I
Who
mean,
are you
I don't
kidding?
have
You're
the
not going
game,
to play
but, like,
this. You aren't going to play any of these games, Josh. You delete the ones that you do.
Screw honor systems in video games.
Also, coming out on May 16th, and then on June 16th, and I don't remember which one's first. Is it PS4 first, then PC and Xbox One, or vice versa?
Correct.
I gave you two options.
The first way is correct. PS4 first.
So coming to PS4 first is Call of Duty Black Ops 3 Zombies Chronicles. That's right. Like Chad said last week, that's the entire name. Call of Duty Black Ops 3 Zombies Chronicles. Actually, we talked about this and we were kind of like speculating on why maybe if this was maybe setting a pattern for how they're doing this. And I was thinking, and as I'm speaking, I forgot what I was going to say, but I think it's along the lines of, do you think that, I don't think we mentioned this, but could this just be setting up to where they're going to, because zombies is becoming such a big thing, selling zombies separate in itself? Like, I know we were talking about multiplayer being separate, campaign being separate, zombies being separate. Because to me, like, I think the people that don't want the campaign, like, I just want the multiplayer. There's a lot of people, obviously, that the multiplayer is what they're going to spend the most time on. That's just a given. But I think the people that don't want the campaign is in the minority. I think most people are just going to go buy the whole game. But when it comes to these zombie things, that's becoming like an entire experience in itself, to where I could easily see them just making that a completely separate purchase, maybe even full price if they keep building on it.
Sure, I could see that.
Because the last 2 zombie things or more, they've actually started these like heavy campaigns. It might even be more than that, like the last 3 or something. Like they've always, like, I don't know if they've always had a story. It seems like I remember there being somewhat of a story in some of them, but now these are like now these have major actors. We've seen Jeff Goldblum, we've seen John Malkovich, we've seen the late Bill Paxton. I think wasn't Bill Paxton in one of them?
I believe so. Yeah,
thought he was. So. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was just thinking about that. But anyways, moving on. Also coming on May 16th to the PS4, Farpoint and PlayStation VR aim controller. So Chad made a mention of this a little ways back. I can't remember, a couple episodes maybe. But Farpoint's coming out where it's a PlayStation VR first-person shooter. And they actually now have they've been advertising it on the box. You've seen, promotional pictures for it. But it's the aim controller. It's actually kind of like, it's shaped to like be reminiscent of like a rifle, a gun that you can hold with 2 hands and you go around and you shoot it. So it looks pretty cool. Something that's definitely interesting, something I'd like to try. And then May 18th for the Switch is Thumper coming. Obviously, this is a Bambi spinoff about the rabbit that helped Bambi learn how to smash his foot onto the ground to attract females.
Right.
And eat clovers, which got him fat, and his dad had to say, "Get up, the forest burneth around you." And then Bambi's mom came back from the dead.
Bambi 3, okay.
Bambi 2, this time it's personal.
Then on May 19th, making all these weird release days, is Fire Emblem Echoes, Shadows of Valencia for the 3DS. For you 3DS users. And then on May 19th and May 23rd in the US, so I'm assuming in Japan it's May 19th. Possibly. Or is it just everywhere else? Does the US just gets it late? I'm not sure, Chad. You wrote these down. I thought maybe you would know.
Copy and paste, man. Copy and paste.
Hey, man. I'm just trying to build you up. You're the pinnacle of South Dakota Gamer. You're the king of SWAT, as they say. The Sultan of SWAT, more preferably.
No.
Also, the Great Bambino. The Great Chad Beambo, they call you.
I feel like there's an extra syllable there.
For May 19th and then May 23rd in the US for the PC, PS4, and Xbox One, Portal Knights. We talked about this game just the other day, and I read some nice little things about it online. You can go back and listen to that on the South Dakota Gamer Podcast. Hey, and if you feel like it, head on over to patreon.com/South Dakota Gamer. Toss us $1 or $2 or $1 million. We'll appreciate it, and we'll get to tell you more about Portal Knights for the rest of our lives. And then rounding out the list on May 19th for the PC, PS4, and Xbox One, Skylar and Pluck's Adventure on Clover Island. Many of you don't realize that Skylar from Breaking Bad had a video game made about her, and this is it. Coming to the PC, PS4, and Xbox One, you can sell methamphetamine and wash your car at the same time with the cute little animal.
And there's
Plucks.
There's a bonus game where if you get Walter to divorce you, you win automatically.
Yeah, you win, like, your house gets covered in pizzas.
Yeah.
What?
Before we move on from the new releases, I do want to go back to the Surge real quick because I knew it sounded familiar.
Because you're thirsty?
And yes, and it does just because of my own gaming tastes. I feel like it deserves a mention here. The Surge is an action RPG set in a world ravaged by war and global warming. The game offers a hardcore experience with a focus on challenging, visceral melee combat. It's that futuristic Dark Souls type game that there was gameplay footage released for like a few months ago. I don't remember exactly when, but they say on their website it's more than a futuristic Dark Souls, but that's pretty much what it is for that one for sure.
So guys, do
Cool.
I need to go back? This is kind of touching back on our episode 117, the Master Chief special, which we failed to mention Master Chief. I do appreciate you, Chad, throwing up a picture. Not throwing up,
Chad
like
threw up?
vomiting, but tossing up a picture
Different
of
episode.
Master Chief as the YouTube
For real.
thumbnail.
And the opening music, right? You like that?
Definitely opening music. Yes, I did. Very much like that. But anyways, as I was saying, you can go back there and again, don't remember what I was saying about that, but it was something you said, Chad. I was trying to bring it back to something that Josh just said.
This is great.
About a
Doing
futuristic
good.
Dark Souls.
Yes. The last podcast we had in episode 117, what props to I just say everything over again, like repeat it like I never even said it. I just have a mind like complete explosion, like that guy, that gif that goes,
I think it's happening right now.
You guys talked about Dark Souls, and I've never played that, but you guys have played 1 and 2, and 3's coming. Or am I thinking of a different game? Darksiders. Right?
Oh, yeah, you're thinking
Different game.
Darksiders. I was talking Dark Souls.
Darksiders. Okay, so for some reason I'm thinking of Darksiders. Do I need to go play that? Because they're making that available on PS4, correct? Remastered stuff.
Okay. They're not.
I mean,
the best games.
It's
ever.
worth a play, but
But you guys both played. Said you both played through the first one,
yeah,
and then played the second one and liked it because it was very Zelda-esque. At least Chad said that.
what sort of Zelda-esque? Yeah,
I was just
it's worth a
wondering.
play if you can get it
If it's
for
cheap, yeah.
a decent price.
I mean, because for those of you that don't know, I do these podcasts, and then I listen to them. I listen to ourselves talk when I drive down the road, and then
Right.
for some reason it's like I don't know how I don't know how this happens, but it's like I wasn't there
Right.
during the recording.
I can't even begin to imagine how
I
that's
learned-
possible on this podcast. That you
I
would
learned stuff by
hear-
listening to myself talk. It's like a different person.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't-
strange.
It's
I don't know
strange.
how it happens. I couldn't nail it down if you asked me. I couldn't. It'd be impossible.
That's
So,
If you had to guess,
Yeah, the areas where that happens. Yeah, probably. All right, so let's move on from the new releases into the beginning of the new segment, but prior to the new segment, so we're not going to do our thing. There's a news / topic that I'd like to discuss, and the news portion of it is Sega. That's the one. They have come out. They had an investor call here recently, and they say they plan to use some of their old IPs and revive some of them and incorporate them into their plans for video games through the year 2020. So I was, being that we're not necessarily Sega kids, at least I am not. I'm definitely a Nintendo kid. That's the way I grew up. But if we could choose what some of the Sega IPs would be that we would like to see a game made for the current gen, what would those Sega IPs be? Because obviously Sega's not making hardware anymore, so you're going to be able to play it on your PlayStation 4, Xbox One, or PC. What Sega games would you like to play on the current gen, Josh?
The
Why don't you
year
start us off?
2020, when many people's credit cards expire.
Well, through that year. Okay, Dave, why don't you start us off?
Well,
It's like they don't listen.
Huh?
Yeah, go ahead.
I do listen. I know what you're talking about. I just
Yeah.
don't have anything on that
No,
list. Like I said, Chad,
That's fine.
in the last 2 weeks, I've had 7
When you
hours
get
at
to-
home.
When you're in the car, when you're in the bus,
In the last 24 hours,
arms are up here like this.
in the last 24
driving
hours,
the
Chad,
bus, and you're just
guess,
looking around.
Chad,
You're gonna
guess
hear-
in the last 24 hours, Chad.
You're gonna
In
hear
the
what I
last
said, and you're gonna
24
go,
hours,
"Oh,
Chad, guess
that's what he was."
how many
referring to."
hours I've driven in the last 24 hours. Guess.
21.
36.
I just realized a friend of mine who also drives for DOT would say I shouldn't say this because they could find me if they hear this.
It's illegal? Yeah.
If it's illegal if I drove longer than 10
Hypothetically.
hours.
Yeah.
So I drove 10 hours, guys, in 24 hours.
And then David lawfully took a break like a good driver.
Yeah, so anyways,
Did you want to give us some Sega games you'd like to play? Or
the point of that
no?
was that I didn't have a
Got any?
whole lot of research done for this episode.
That's
It's very unlike me. I usually am just
That's
chock
true.
full of information about Sega.
So, Josh, why don't you start us off after all?
I would love to.
Okay.
I was able to think of 2 games.
Hey, Josh, remember when you
Yes.
interrupted me a bunch last week on the
Wait, what?
podcast? Remember?
When did
That
I
was-
interrupt you a
When it
bunch?
was my turn to talk, and you kept talking, and then Chad said, "All right, Dave, now are you ready?" Yeah,
Wait,
I remember
Did
that.
I don't remember that happening.
Well, that's because you only think about yourself, Josh.
Did that really happen? Because I feel bad about that.
Oh yeah, it happened. But
Okay,
hey,
I'm a jerk.
no worries, dude.
All right.
Hey,
No,
no
Hey,
worries.
are we okay?
we're never
Hey,
gonna get
Chad.
through this.
Are we still live?
Yeah, man. So, Josh, give me some Sega games you'd like to play.
Yeah, Chad. I only had 2. One, the number one, the one I most want to see come back is Crazy Taxi.
I have that on my list also.
It's good. It's a good game. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I played it in arcades, a little bit on Dreamcast. It's good stuff. And the other one that I didn't realize until I started looking at Sega games, I didn't realize it was a Sega IP. But in light of some of the recent movies, Jurassic Park. I would love to see a new Jurassic Park game for current gen. I think it could be done pretty well at this point.
What would it be? Would it be a shooter?
I
kind
would
of game would it
I would like to see like a horror, a first person horror like type thing. Sort of like Prey or Outlast, but with Jurassic Park. That's what I would
be
love.
cool. That's a great idea.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Because you could, I mean, now with the capabilities of the current gen, you could totally capture the ambience and like the terror of being like lost in this park and these dinosaurs are just overrunning everything. Like, you know what? Actually, a more apt comparison might be like the Alien Isolation game.
Sure.
Because like these, I mean, really, like these are animals that you really have no chance against. So your best option is just to kind of hide and like sneak your way through things and like, but like the terror would be there for sure. Like I feel like they could do that.
Feeling the vibration in the controller, like when the T-Rex is stomping around.
Yeah, like and seeing puddles ripple and stuff like that would be so great. And like feeling just so vulnerable and powerless. That could be a pretty good game, I think. So those are the 2 that I had. Those are the only 2 that I had.
I also, as I said, had Crazy Taxi because that's one of the very few Sega games I played. And then the other one that is a Sega property was Golden Axe.
You know
what?
See,
I saw that and I
almost
thought
wrote that down.
I saw that and I thought, what's the point with like Diablo out? Blizzard have Diablo. It seems to me, because when I first saw that, I thought the same thing. But then I thought, it's exactly what I would want that to be is exactly what Diablo
is. Fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right.
That's
it would.
fair.
I think for me that would be more of a nostalgia.
Yeah.
Give me keep it side scroller and just add the characters, make it look better and
yeah. I almost wrote that one down.
There you go. Us Nintendo boys not having a whole lot for Sega, but we would play some games that Sega made, and that's cool. So let's get into the news that you can use.
If you so choose.
Do so.
Proper. Brought to us by our good friend Paco.
Paco!
and first-hand supply.
First-hand supply.
Put your
Rub your face
on
on somebody.
Another face.
First-hand supply. Put your face on it. All right, so we've got a relatively short list, but let's rush through them here quickly. First off, I'm going to announce, or not announce, but I'm going to mention that E3 obviously is coming shortly. Surprise! E3, South Dakota Gamer exclusive. No, E3 is coming here in just about a month. I believe June 9th is
South Dakota?
There's going to be 5 people here. The public passes have sold out. They sold
the public has passed out
here. They passed out. They done died. It's over. So this is the first year that the public is going to be invited to the show, and it took quite a while for the passes to actually sell out, which was a surprise. I think most people expected, similar to PAX, for the passes to go right away, but they did not.
Yeah, I'm surprised too. The cheap ones sold out pretty quickly though. Like the first, 1,000 or whatever.
I was going to say I don't recall the cost even of what they were. I know they weren't super cheap, but interesting that they took this long to finally get sold out. But here in 2 weeks on the South Dakota Gamer Podcast, we are going to have our E3 prediction show. If you remember from 2016, Dave started doing that week. We will each choose a preset number of predictions, and we will lay those out. That'll be the majority of that episode that week. And then the week after E3, we will have Patreon supporter, friend of the show, Evan Steele, come on to the podcast, and he will have listened to the podcast and judged and given us points based on the predictions and the truth and what really happened, and we will declare a 2017 E3 prediction winner.
And so, I would really just like to take this opportunity to say how great of a guy that I think Evan Steele is. He's a great father. He's really quite strikingly handsome as well, and just very knowledgeable when it comes to video games. Nintendo especially, I'm just always very impressed at the knowledge he brings to the table and the very constructive conversations he helps facilitate. And I just would like to say how happy I am that we're having Evan be a part of this year's E3 festivities. And I'm very excited to see what kind of contributions he can make to the podcast. I think it's going to be very exciting. And
2 things. You dissed on Overwatch and you deleted Rocket League. You're not going to get any points from Evan.
Well, look, it's a given that people are going to have differences of taste. And one person is going to enjoy things that another person will not. That doesn't mean that Evan is not a man of impeccable
boycotting Nintendo
tastes. And I'm sure that he's got great reasons for sticking with Nintendo and loving everything they do. And that's obviously I'm sure could expound hours on his reasons for that. So, I'm very excited to see what Evan
you want me to stop you from talking right now? You want help?
Yeah, I was hoping that somebody would just kind of cut me off there.
I tried.
So that is happening. Yeah, it did. That's happening in 2 weeks. Our prediction show, and then the week after,
Josh went on his diatribe. If that's how you say that word.
Yeah.
I was going to bring up the fact. Speaking of Evan Steele, Josh. Did you happen to see today the little hosh posh, the little boxing match that went on between Evan Steele and Mr. Chad Viss today on the South Dakota Gamer Facebook page?
No, I did not.
Well,
we were duking it out, huh?
Let me jump over to facebook.com for you and read you and our listeners.
Whatever it was, I'm sure Evan he made very good points.
I just want to show you this wonderful piece of dialogue that I thought was pretty good. It has nothing to do with my own contributions, except for a little bit. But Chad posted a video today. Some of you probably saw it, of him playing a little bit of Battlefield 1. He was in a bunker, shooting some guys, not super long range, but long range, doing some good kills there, doing some work. And I didn't listen to the audio. Chad, did you hear someone coming, or did you just know someone was probably going to be coming?
Well, if you're watching, there were two guys coming on the distance to the left. I killed one, and the other one went below where I could go. So I knew he was probably going to be coming around.
So Chad decides he misses the first guy. He gets the second guy. He quickly switches to his sidearm, to his pistol. He runs out the door. The guy pops up over the hill. He puts like 3 or 4 right into his chest, drops him. Then he decides to run up on the hill and do a little quote-unquote victory dance on top of the fallen soldier, also known in the video game world as teabagging. Now, Mr. Evan Steele decided to jump up on here, and his comment was, "Boo! Act like you've been there before."
Yeah, he didn't like the video either. No liking of the video. He can't like
Chad gets up there. That's what people who have been there before do. Evan comes back. That's what 8 to 14-year-olds do. Glad you're taking your lead from your preteen competitors.
Doesn't hold back at all.
Then I said, Evan's just mad because he's always getting teabagged. And then I put a little shocked face. And then Evan says, nope, but I do take great pleasure in eliminating people mid-emote. To which Chad responds, okay, show me how it's done then. Let's see a BF1 clip from your outsmarting your opponent and then giving him an honorary bow. And then Evan comes back. Oh, actually, it was me. I decided to throw in the fact that Evan's typically a group healer, so he's not going to be doing any of that stuff. And then Evan, to his credit, I think tried to douse the flame a little bit and said any Battlefield 1 clip would include an audio track of him screaming because he keeps getting blown away by snipers from 7,000 meters away. To which I responded, it's a battlefield, brother, not a recreation room.
Oh, goodness.
And then Chad said, LOL, fair enough, I guess. It's a tough game to play. The end.
Well, I think that Evan made some fantastic points.
Okay.
And not to take any sides, but I really feel that he was making some points, and it was very constructive.
How many video games have you played this year?
I have
Question
no idea.
1. Number 2, how many of them have you purchased yourself? Number 3,
I would say all of the games I've played this year I've purchased myself, except for one. Somebody bought me Skyrim.
You just said that 2 games recently have been purchased for you.
Oh yeah, somebody bought me Horizon. Everything else.
So
because I'm getting married.
Anyway,
they were on my wedding registry.
I thought it was a good video. It was fun. And it was quick, and Evan didn't like the video. He just booed me, which, fair enough. I usually don't behave that way in video games, but it felt appropriate. It just happened. Okay, what can I say? It just happened.
It was the heat of the moment. You got very excited. It could happen to anybody.
Yeah, PTSD washed over. No, I'm not going to make jokes about that. All right, so let's move into the news. That is real news. So E3 coming up a couple weeks. We'll do our prediction show, blah, blah, blah. All right, BioWare. A famous company, makes a lot of real good games. They had an investor call, I believe, also recently here, where they announced that their new IP that they're working on, which they have previously announced, they have a brand new IP that their main studio is working on, was supposed to be coming out by March of next year, which was the end of their 2017 fiscal year. They announced that it will not come out until the 2019 fiscal year. Which happens between April of 2018 to March 19. So it could be 1 month delay from the original announced time frame to an entire year plus. So we're gonna have to wait a little bit longer for the new IP. The main reason they said was not because the game was struggling in any way, but it's going to be an action adventure game with a very heavy focus on the live service to Destiny and the Division here that we're familiar with lately. And the main reason for the delay is because of that live service function. They want to make sure it's good. They want to make sure that it's what they want it to be, and that is what is causing the delay. Any thoughts on that? I mean, delays happen all the time.
So my question is, have you guys heard of any current stats for concurrent users for Destiny or the Division at the moment?
I haven't recently, no.
You guys aren't playing either one at the moment, right?
No, I played Destiny a couple weeks ago for a little while.
I feel like I'm not hearing people talk about those games even as much as I used to, let alone like it's surfacing that people are like still playing them pretty actively. Here's my thing. Like from the beginning, I haven't been sold on games as a platform necessarily. Like games like this. Like I understand the success of a game like Rocket League or Overwatch. That game as a platform makes sense to me in that format, but games like The Division or Destiny or whatever, like it's an MMO basically, like a shooter MMO.
Sure.
And it seems like there can only exist so many at a time anyway, because each are pulling from the other's audience. Yeah, so I'm wondering how many is going to end up being too many, and it's going to crowd the market.
They've just got to be the better one. I think that would be their viewpoint on it. I know Destiny, if you're into Destiny, and those that are into Destiny, and they're into it, that's literally almost all they play. I'm sure they have other things they play, but they devote most of their time into it. Guys like Ryland and other Destiny players that I know that have thousands of hours into it, they still play it a lot. You know, you do your raids, you upgrade your gear. At this point, I'm sure it's waning some from where it was when it was at its height. And then obviously we have Destiny 2 coming out in September. So that's going to generate some new excitement for that. You might get some people back into that as well. The Division, they've done a lot with that game. They've added a bunch. They've balanced it. They've changed so much. I'm sure that if I went back to this point, I wouldn't even recognize the game from what it was when I first played. So I think when you look at like the broad spectrum of gamers in general, to all gamers, these games you won't hear about them as much, but the group of fans that they do generate spend so much time and probably a lot of money in there that it's worth it to companies like this to have that continual service, always doing and updating and adding things to it, because the players that do come make it obviously worthwhile. And then EA, being a big company like Activision is and like Ubisoft is, they're looking to get in on that. And it makes sense. Will it pay off like Destiny has or The Division has? That's yet to be seen. But I'm sure their viewpoint on it is, let's make it better than those two, so that when people that like those games look at ours and go, oh, this is what we want to get into, and we have a wider audience that we can reach. So I'm sure it makes money. Otherwise, big companies like this wouldn't be trying to tap into it. But yeah, I see your point.
I'm sure it does too.
It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, it just like, again, as an outsider, it seems like two big games being in that space is a crowded market. And then a third, I just wonder like what the numbers are going to be like for each once BioWare launches theirs. But
60 million PlayStation 4s out there. There's a lot of people. So
yeah.
But anyway, also on the tail end of this new IP being delayed, they did announce that the Mass Effect series is going to be taking some time off. The Montreal studio that headed up the Andromeda game, obviously they did not get the reviews they particularly wanted. Maybe looks like it may have been rushed out, which you could blame on the publishers if you wanted to. But they've basically disbanded Montreal. Sent some people over to help with the Star Wars EA game, and also keeping some of the workers on to, continue to support Andromeda and do some DLC and things like that. But they did say the Mass Effect series going to be taking a break. Not saying it's gone forever, but we're not going to see one for a while. They're not going to be talking about one. So
probably a good call.
Yeah, probably a good thing. So we'll see. Next, Nintendo Switch owners. Great news. Dave, great news for you. You asked about this literally days before this came out. The Nintendo eShop will now allow you on your Switch to save a credit card.
I know, I've already saved mine.
Congratulations that they finally allowed this to happen.
Happy day!
A couple months later. I can imagine that was frustrating. I haven't bought anything on the eShop yet, but to have to put a credit card in every single time.
Yeah.
17.
I've bought 1, 2, 3, at least 4 games off the eShop. And Minecraft Switch Edition was the last one I had to I just checked that little box, save your payment information. So now I don't have to worry about that anymore. Kind of a no-brainer.
Convenience. Kind of a no-brainer. All right, next we have some sports news. Games. They announced the new cover athlete for the Madden 2018 edition, none other than Mr. Tom.
Very similar to the Himalayan goat people we talked about last episode. This one is the goat, from what I've been told.
Greatest of all time. This is Josh's. Why are you booing Tom Brady?
Look,
Evan, how did you get in here?
I'm not saying Tom Brady's not talented. I'm not saying Tom Brady may not be the all time. However, when it's proven without a doubt that you cheated at the sport in which you are playing, like I don't feel like you deserve any more accolades or praise from that point forward. And that goes for Bill Belichick too, who's been proven to be cheating at least twice now. I think that's the second time. So like I just have no use for somebody like just freaking play the game. Like play the game and be the best. But once you've cheated to get anywhere, I can't respect you anymore. I can't. So that's why I don't like Tom.
Okay. Fair enough. So he's on that. That's really all there is to say about that game. I don't think let's see who was last year, because they have that Madden curse, where the people that are on the cover usually end up getting hurt. I cannot remember who was on last year, but I don't think it's happened every single year. Gronk, that's who was on the cover, and he did get hurt. He busted up his ACL and stuff. He was out for quite a while. I think he broke a rib. So sure. Gronkowski was on last year. So 2 years in a row, we get a New England Patriot. So we'll see if Brady can withstand the curse. He is getting old. All right, next news. Moving on. Square Enix, off one of their studios, IO Interactive. IO Interactive, recently known for developing the new Hitman game. When this first was announced, a lot of people were worried about the future of Hitman, wondering that if Square retains the rights to Hitman and they sell off IO, if they'll make another one, or if IO just doesn't use it up. They're in the middle of making season 2 for Hitman, and Dave and I had talked a lot about the first season of Hitman. Great game, super fun, different than anything else, and obviously they came out and did the episodic release, which when it first was out, I think all three of us were skeptical about that type of episodic. But after playing for over a year, all the extra contracts that they'd put in on a weekly basis, real cool. And we were really excited to hear what Season 2 might bring us. This may delay Season 2. It may indefinitely. It's hard to say exactly what's going on, but we did find out that IO will retain the rights to Hitman, so they will still be able to make that game depending on what publisher purchases them, and or if they give them the go-ahead to make that game, or if they have to make something else. So what are your thoughts on that? Man doomed?
I don't think so. It sounds like the people obviously that are responsible for making it as great as it is IO. I mean,
definitely.
As long as they have the money to keep doing it, I don't see why there's any reason for us to think that it's not going to, continue.
Yeah,
I hope it does, because I really like it. I'd like to see season 2. Really looking forward to it. Now, one thing I will say that I do not like, and I never had to deal with this because I did all my stuff digitally, but in the physical realm, as we all know, season 1 came out on physical disc at the beginning of this year, I think. Anyways, regardless of what time it came out, something that I was unaware of, and I found out through one of my buddies that I travel with who bought it for his Xbox One, they give you a disc, but it does not have the season on it. You still have to digitally download the season. The disc just gives you the right to own it.
To do so.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
Seems like an odd choice.
Well, aren't most discs these days, isn't that what you have to do? You're basically, the disc is only like you said, proving that you have it, and you're down. Like if you put a disc in your system has to download it just like if it were downloading it digitally.
It definitely,
most of them still.
It definitely downloads much quicker for physical media than if you're downloading the entire game digitally. You can pop that thing in,
so
and
some of
play
them
it
may
within
be there.
minutes. Yeah,
Sure, fair.
not all of them. There have been
It's
some
interesting.
where it's taken longer. I'm especially when we first got these Xbox Ones and PlayStation 4s. That was one of the big things. Like, man, it takes forever. I can't just. But it seems like that's kind of been remedied more and more and more.
Mm-hmm.
You put the game in, and you go get a drink. You come back, and whatever it needed to install has installed. Unless there's a major patch or something.
Sure.
For the most part, you can play that real quick to where digitally download a game and you could be waiting, 4, 5, 6 hours. The next day if you have bad internet. So
Yeah.
it was just weird to see that. I mean, it could have to do with the fact that it's going to be seasons instead of another Hitman game coming out. It's just going to be continuation of this game. So, I don't know, but it was just weird because he travels on the bus. And we don't have Wi-Fi in the bus. At least not that we're downloading, 40 gigs of stuff.
Right. So he had no way to play it.
Couldn't play it.
Huh.
I think it had the tutorials on it, and that's it.
That sucks. Yeah. Not much difference there. All right. Well, we will see and keep our eyes out for exactly what happened with Hitman. Hopefully they are able to make season 2. I know they did say they were more than halfway through development on that, so they have a good chunk of it already completed. So regardless of who purchases them, if they do or if they become independent, so hopefully it is able to come out. Next, Elder Scrolls Online, that MMO that has gone free to play for the PC, came out recently with the Morrowind expansion. And they had before sold a couple anthology editions, and I believe this was for the PC, where you basically got a lot of art books. You got a real big package that it came with, a lot of cool things that were included with it, including the game. Well, lately, in the last couple weeks, a man, it saved his life. He had the Elder Scrolls anthology, and it saved his life from a bullet that entered his apartment. He was sitting in his apartment playing his game on his computer, and he had the anthology sitting up on the shelf, and the neighbors were apparently cleaning their weapon in their apartment, and the gun fired, and it went through the drywall that is in between their buildings or their apartments, and it struck. He heard a loud pop and a bang, which you hear when guns fire, and he looked over, and it came through his wall, but he had the anthology sitting there on the shelf, and that anthology stopped the bullet. So it got lodged in the game. He has a giant bullet hole in it, and one side obviously didn't go through, but he was in the path, sitting where the bullet could have gone had it not been sitting there. He apparently I think he had the thing with the news, an interview with the news, and had the gaming thing there, and they were making the big deal how a game saved man's life. They showed the box, and you can Google it. It has a giant bullet hole in it, and apparently Bethesda got wind of this, and these are limited editions, the anthology versions, and they sent him a brand new anthology edition free of charge because of it being ruined by the neighbor. And he also said he thinks the neighbors got evicted. So
All right.
hopefully you don't have to worry about that again.
Oh
But
my
so
gosh.
if you live
look,
with all the
I
sirens, just buy a
defy-
bunch of these and
exactly.
put them on your wall.
I defy anyone
bulletproof
now
vests.
to say that video gaming has never done anything good for anybody.
Yeah, it could save your life. You never know.
It could literally save your life.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Wow,
pretty
That's
cool.
amazing.
Yeah. All right. A couple more items here and we'll be finished. Lego Marvel Superheroes just this morning showed a little teaser trailer with a baby Groot. Darn cute. And then a couple Spider-Man, I believe they showed. And they're saying a new full trailer will be released on May 23rd with a release date for the game on November 14th. It's Lego Marvel Superheroes 2.
That reminds me, guys, I got to go see Guardians of the Galaxy tomorrow. I haven't
you
seen
did.
that
So
yet.
good. I finally saw it this past weekend.
Movie. It's a real good movie. It's real good.
Does it? Hey, does Spider-Man
Good.
Homecoming come out this month?
No, that's in July, I believe.
Oh,
July
really?
11th.
Yeah, July.
Is there something else big that comes out this month, or is it just Guardians?
For May, I can't think off the top of my head. I know there's a
I don't
couple.
think-
There's some good movies coming out here real
I
soon.
don't think May. Wonder Woman, I think, is coming out in June, right?
Second, correct? Yeah, June 2nd. So yeah, there's good
Wait.
movies.
What Alien Covenant, did that come out?
So
Not yet.
that might be soon.
Opens Friday.
Oh, yeah, that is soon. Yep.
There you go. There you go. So Lego Marvel Superheroes 2, the very first one was great. Had over 150 Marvel characters that you could play as. I don't doubt that this one will be just as good. The first one didn't have any Guardians in it, so that'll be cool. You could play as Baby Groot, Star-Lord, Gamora, Drax, all those things. Great.
Baby
great
Groot
game.
is the freaking cutest ever. Yeah, that was adorable. And the fact that he was like just mad at Drax the whole movie and was just like punching on him, and then he like falls asleep on Drax's shoulder at the very end.
Yeah.
So freaking cute.
And listeners, you'll like it as well. All right, next, Zelda. We are familiar fully with Breath of the Wild, the real good RPG game that's on the Nintendo Switch and the Wii U if you, for some reason, still play on that. There's a rumor from the Wall Street Journal, the Wall Street Journal, which is a newspaper, or you can read it online. They have announced that there'll be a Zelda mobile game coming to your mobile phone this year.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what do you guys think this could, we know they made Mario Run, like their big one. They made a Fire Emblem game. What could a Zelda game on the phone, and then what do you want it to be?
It could just be a bunch of small puzzles, like dungeon puzzles and stuff. I don't know how you navigate. But really, you're not going to have a big story game on the phone. So when I think about what is Zelda, I think about the puzzles. I think about now this might have nothing to do with. This doesn't really coincide with Zelda, but I think about games like, for example, what's that water game with the alligator?
Where's my water?
Yeah, Where's My Water? That's a puzzle game with physics-based stuff in it where you have to get the water certain places and stuff by doing certain things. I could see them incorporating that into a Zelda game, not that specific mechanic, but something like that, to where there's puzzles. And make it look, really good, and make it look, have the Zelda art style. I don't know which. I really hope that they don't go like the Wind Waker, the more cartoon stuff. I would like to see them use. Like Super Mario Run, for example, looked really good. Like it looked kind of like the Wii U version of Mario and stuff, which I thought was good. If they did a Zelda, like the Breath of the Wild isn't like that art style is not something that I don't think can make it on a phone. Like I could see that making it on a phone, but also I'd be happy with the same art style, kind of like how Mario is with Zelda, where it's just like it's not a cartoon, but it's more video game looking.
Yeah, for real.
I like that kind of stuff, but I don't know. I'll definitely check it out because it's Zelda. I can have it on my phone, and it probably won't be anything more than $9 like Mario Run was at the most. So,
what do you think, Josh?
Yeah, I was thinking like maybe something along those lines, like the mini games that you find in like some of the Zelda games, like the target practice or like throwing bombs or whatever. Like, I don't know, maybe something like that. I feel like it would have to be compared to like the Zelda games that we're used to. It'd have to be pretty simple, but
yeah,
I doubt that they're going to go like, I doubt that they're going to build out a game like we're on the NES or Super Nintendo with like an overworld and then like side-scrolling dungeons and stuff like that, because that doesn't seem to work well on touch screens. but it's hard to like. It's hard to guess at if they're not going that route, what route they would go. But yeah, I feel like a puzzle game or like a mini game type situation might be.
As long as it's not just a bunch of rooms where you're trying to guess how many stupid rubies are in those chests. And that little shirt trying to take all your money. I hate that guy.
It's a scheme. Hate that guy. It's a scheme. Well, we will see what that is. As of right now, I mean, the Wall Street Journal, I guess they're reputable. But it is still a rumor. Nothing is official as far as that goes. But that wouldn't be a huge surprise if we get a Zelda.
I wouldn't be surprised if in that mobile game you hear that music all the time. Like, that would annoy me. It's just like those little, like,
yeah, probably get a lot of that. All right, and then finally on the list this week, with the E3s coming up real soon, there's a lot of leaks. We talked about the Assassin's Creed game last week being leaked out. They have said that, or Microsoft and 343 has said there will not be anything from E3 this year. But they did say they will have something to talk about concerning Halo. So people assumed and immediately began asking 343 if that meant we would get a Halo 3 remaster, as I believe this is the 10-year anniversary of Halo 3 coming out, and people were bugging him so much that finally on Reddit he said, OMG, no, we're not getting a Halo 3 remaster. Stop it already. So either he's lying, or he just doesn't. Just people need to just leave him alone about it. So no Halo 6 info, and then no Halo 3 remaster announcement coming at E3. But we are supposed to get something Halo. We shall see what that is. I don't know. Halo. I mean, lately Halo really hasn't excited me a ton. I've played them, and they've been fine. They haven't been bad at all. But I just haven't been overly excited about the Halo franchise as of late. So, excite me, Microsoft, I guess, please.
No, I mean, I look forward to what they do with the next Halo game, but I don't really need a Halo 3 remastered.
Yeah. All right, so that is all the news that you can use this week, which is going to bring us right into what we've been playing lately. Dave, I've been driving only 10 hours in the last 24 hours because that's legal and have not been home. What have you been playing while you've been not driving?
Well, Chad, when I'm not driving, I'm driving in the digital world. I played some Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Edition on the Switch, and I talked about this, I think, a little bit last week too. How I came in first place, guys. Remember that?
Yes, you did.
That? It's like riding a bike.
I remember you saying that. Uh-huh.
Well, I decided to up the ante. We played 4-player split screen, put it in the dock on the big TV in the front lounge of the bus.
Okay. All right.
And went to 150cc on the Leaf Cup. Never played any of these things before. First place every race. Gold Cup all the way. Hey.
Wow.
Kind of untouchable. Until I realized, this has some features in it that were kind of making it a little bit easier for me, which I didn't know
about these
until I read it. So I did some investigating because, first of all, there's not really any options menu in the game. And I'm like, how in the world? I had to like Google it to figure it out. But apparently, well, not apparently, I've actually seen it. So this is verified information by Dave. When you go into you select your if you're multiplayer, single player, whatever, select your cup or something or whatever your level. When you get to the character screen, whichever stage that's in, and you are picking, your cart, your wheels, and your little parachute or what, glider or whatever, there's options to change 3 different things. There is a smart drive. I can't remember if that's the actual name of it, but it actually keeps you from falling off the edge. It won't let you fall off the edge, which, in my opinion, is a huge part of Mario Kart. When I took that off, I was like, holy crap, like I got to remember. Because it was like when I first started playing it, it's automatically on. And I was like the drift king. And when I took that off, I'm like, man, it's so easy. Like, it's ridiculously easy. Like, it's like I played this all my life. When I took it off, the first time I did a drift, I flew off the edge of the map. I was like, well, but then
riding a bike.
I quickly got the hang of it again. I just had to relearn it. The other option is, I can't remember what the middle option is. I'll skip the other one. This is actually not bad. There's an automatic acceleration on, which seems weird at first when you think about it. But I read that a lot of people, a lot of veteran players have actually really liked it because you don't have to keep your, the whatever button you're using to accelerate mashed in the whole time. It just automatically accelerates you to max acceleration. You can still push the button whenever you want. Like, for example, when you start the race, if you don't push anything, you'll take off normal, but you can also push it at the time to get the boost. You can do that, but it just makes it to where you don't have to hold in the acceleration button the whole time. And then there's one other special feature. I can't remember what it was. I won't. I'll look it up maybe when someone else is talking about a game. But anyways, it's a fun game. I found myself, I played through the Mushroom Cup on my own to get the Gold Cup because he hadn't done it yet. It's not mine. I was playing it on my friend's Switch. Yeah. So I still have to get that game. I'm looking forward to doing it. It's a very fun game, a blast. It's the best Mario Kart game out there. I played some more Zelda. Got back into Zelda pretty good. It like bit me again, and I was finding some things like, man, I didn't know about this. I didn't know about this. Like, this is crazy here. And went ahead and beat my third Divine Beast. I currently stopped the game at the fourth Divine Beast dungeon. So right when I got to the entrance, I saved it. Since then, I now have 2 stamina wheels. I think I have 14 hearts. Which cool. you get 15 hearts, and then it starts the second layer of hearts. So, but I wanted to get that wheel. I started getting a bunch of more shrines, obviously, to do that. After I get this Divine Beast, I'll get that 15th heart. Because you get a heart for every Divine Beast, correct? That's what it is, heart container.
Right. Yep.
So yeah, I'll have that, and I'm really liking it. Again, and the story and everything. I like during a lot of the cutscenes, I'm always taking pictures, screenshots. It looks so good. And I've always loved it. And there's a lot of people that say, man, I don't know about Zelda. There's no story. Like, to me, there's always been story. Like, not that it's like a new story every time. They kind of like retell the same thing over and over in a different way. Maybe that's what they mean. But I've always liked the lore of The Legend of Zelda and the characters and the different races they have and the Master Sword and the Master. I still haven't gotten I don't know if it's called the Hylian Shield, the actual
Hylian Shield, yeah,
the main one.
Did I tell you where I found that?
I thought maybe you said you found it in the castle or by the castle.
Yeah,
but
right.
Yeah, I haven't even gone over there yet. I think I have like 52 or 58. I'm in the 50s of shrines. So I mean, gosh, man, it's so good. I was playing around with some different creatures, trying to learn how to, I tried to take on a what do they call it, a Linus or what's
Lionel?
Lionel. Tried to take one on, man. He kept wrecking me. I was like,
tough.
I'll come back another day, my friend, another day. I did see you can mount them. I don't know how long before they throw you off. Yeah, you can mount a Lionel.
That I did not know that. That's insane.
Now, I don't think you can like tame them and just ride them around, but
that would be awesome.
I'm sure he probably bucks you off after a little bit. But I tried to do it and it did. Huh. I failed. But you can like glide right onto them. Like I did glide onto a horse. You can mount a horse by just gliding onto it. So I imagine, because when I got to the Lionel, I kept spamming A to try to mount him, and then I fell off. So I should have just glided right into him. He probably would have grabbed him and he would have thrown me or whatever. It would have been cool to at least watch. So cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back into that. And then I purchased Minecraft Switch Edition this weekend. Nice. And gosh, man,
how much?
$20, I think. $20.
Okay.
I got pulled right back into Minecraft. I mean, I'm a Minecraft player. I like Minecraft. I had it on my PlayStation or on my I had it on my Xbox 360. I got it on my Xbox One. I don't know if I have. Do I have it on PlayStation 4?
We
I don't think we have it on PlayStation 4. I've never had the PlayStation version. But I have it on Switch now. And I did a little bit of the Mario World, and I went back to normal in survival. The whole time I was in the Mario World, it was like like loud music the whole time. Everything's so colorful. I was like an acid trip. I was about to have a seizure. So then I backed out. Then I went into survival mode, and which I haven't done in a long time. And I was like, I'm just gonna play in survival mode. And as I'm traveling and I have my Switch, every once in a while, I'll pull out Minecraft, do a little bit of survival mode stuff, which is really funny because the boss of my group currently does that on his iPad. I'm like, what's he doing over there? It's like, he's playing Minecraft. I'm like, really? It's like, yeah, he likes playing Minecraft. Cool. So, cool. Yeah, it's really cool. And I love the fact that it's on the Switch. I was talking to you earlier. I think I said it on this podcast. I'm looking for, maybe it was before, looking forward to Overcooked to be on the Switch. Looking forward. I'll even play, I'll probably play Oceanhorn again just because it's on the Switch. And I can sit and play, because it was a fun game. Yeah. Lots of cool things that are coming. Man, I really want that virtual console though.
Yeah.
Kind of a sore spot for me.
Be nice.
But yeah, that's what I played this week so far. Tonight, I will change that.
Oh, stuff. Anytime, Josh. You're up, Josh.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you.
Next.
There's something. It's either my connection or yours. I don't know which one. My list is very short. It's one game long, and I only played for a few minutes. I've been real busy this week. I've played a few minutes of Horizon Zero Dawn this week. So as of right now, I think I'm a little over 25% of the way through the game. Let's see. Notebook. I am 27.08% of the way through the game. I have overridden 2 tall necks.
Nice.
I've taken out 1 bandit camp. I've completed 2 cauldrons, 2 corrupted zones. And then I've found a few of the collectibles here and there. 2 of which being I think 2 of the power cells.
Yep.
So I got wind of the fact that they're this power cell. I don't want to spoil it for anybody that maybe hasn't played the game, but you get this power cell super early in the game, and you don't know what it's for, and it opens up a quest that says find a use for the power cell. But it's kind of a later game quest. It's a level 20 something quest. You probably don't want to attempt it until you're you've progressed a little bit. So I left it alone. And then I got to where I was within a few levels of what they suggest for the quest. So I went to try it out, and I was able to find a use for the 1 power cell. And come to find out that's not all that happens there. So I was able to progress the quest one more step. And I'm kind of stuck there, but come to find out, that's a long-term, that's probably something I'm just going to keep my eye open for, as I play the game.
It teases you.
I didn't want to spoil it for myself, where all the things are and how to progress it and how to finish it. So yeah, I'm figuring that I'll kind of happen upon next steps, as I play the game. It's pretty good so far. Right now, I'm working on clearing out another cauldron, and there is a what is it called? A something jaw.
Thunderjaw.
Thunderjaw is the enemy that I have to kill in this cauldron, and it's not so. This one's not like the rest of them. When you override the main console or whatever they call it. there's like a few smaller enemies that come out as well as the quote unquote big one. It's just the Thunderjaw, and he's kicked my butt probably 6 or 7 times now. So I'm trying to figure out
one thing I wish I would have done earlier in the game was focus on the different types of weapons.
So that's what I'm trying to do. And I have the sharpshooter bow with like the tear.
There's like way more
thing.
weapons than I ever would have imagined.
And yeah, so like I think right now I've got 5 weapons or so. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weapons, 3 different bows.
They're kind of all based on the different races or the different tribes, I should say.
Yeah, I've got 3 different bows. I've got my spear, and I've got like a blast sling.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got the trip caster. So that's what I've got right now. And so yeah, I'm trying to like round out my arsenal, something for every machine's weakness.
Like this, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess this could be a spoiler, but I don't really think so. Like there's different types of the same weapon.
Oh yeah, I've encountered that. Okay.
To where you can use like different ammo with different versions of that.
So I have the regular bow, which just does regular arrows and fire, and then I have a war bow, which does shock and frost, and then I have a sharpshooter bow that does like I guess it's the piercing damage and the tear damage.
Those tear ones, I use those a lot. Ended up using those a lot.
Yeah, especially for like big things like this thing, like it tears pieces off pretty quickly. So you can disable like those the stealth robots, like you can disable this stealth generator pretty easily with those.
This isn't a spoiler because it says it in the it says it in the I was going to say like the bestiary. I'm thinking of The Witcher.
Oh, I know it's
this notebook. Yeah. Like if you tear off those guns on the Thunderjaw, if you can get in close, it seems like there's no way you would be able to do it because that thing would just wreck you.
Can you use those things?
Oh yeah.
Oh no way. Oh man, the disc launchers can be picked up and used. Holy crap. All right. Well, I may have just found my solution for beating this thing.
Yep.
That's what I need to focus on. I was trying to blast everything off of it. And
yeah, it's just
I could only get it to half health and it could kill me.
If you can get it, like sometimes it'll be like because it's so big, it takes wide turns and stuff. So sometimes you can pick it up if you time it right and it's making a wide turn. But other times it's like if you go in there, it'll just like one hit you.
Yeah,
like it did that to me a lot.
It like the last few times that I've fought it, I'll get it to half health, and then it'll just run into me one time. Like I'll be over half of my health bar, and it'll just run into me one time, and I'll die. And then I gotta start over. Yeah. And then the frustrating thing is like all this, like I crafted like extra carrying space for like different ammo and like traps and stuff like that, and like I got to do all that again the next time I go to attempt it because it doesn't save because I got killed. Right. So it's frustrating, but it's still like I'm still enjoying it. It's a pretty good game. I've been intentionally not progressing the story a whole lot. I've been doing like a lot of the side quests and just exploring the map and stuff, which is the same thing that I did with freaking Fallout 4, which I still haven't finished the story. And like I don't know what it is with these games. Like it's a great game and I'm enjoying the story, and I don't want it to end. Over. There's something psychological, I guess, about it, but it's pretty good. I'm enjoying it, but I've literally played maybe 30 minutes of it this entire week. Yeah, we're getting down to crunch time with wedding stuff, and then it was Cecilia's birthday this weekend, so we did some stuff for that.
What day is her birthday?
The 14th.
2 days after mine, then.
Yeah.
I didn't think they were on the same day, but
so
cool.
Yeah, I played this week.
Yeah.
She is the ripe old age of 21.
Okay. I was gonna say you're not supposed to say that publicly. Women's ages, they don't like it. But 21, yes.
Yeah, just she's totally 21
again.
Yep.
All right. For myself, I didn't play a ton this week either. Honestly, I got stuck after the podcast last week. We usually play games. Dave was leaving very early the next morning, so he didn't play. So I sat down and I looked. I'm like, what should I play? What should I play? And I was like, you know what? And while I eat, I'm gonna bring up Netflix and I'm gonna watch an episode of Luke Cage because I haven't finished that season. Four episodes later, I'm like, oh no, I need to stop this right now and go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't play any games at all. And then I was like, well, I got to finish this season of Luke Cage because pretty good where I was at. And so I didn't play any games until I believe Sunday. I played just a little bit of Skyrim, not very much at all, maybe 10, 15 minutes or so. And then my son are really into Halo. And one of his teachers is really into Halo. And so all they talk about is Halo. So he really, really, really wants to play Halo. I don't have any Halo games other than I have the digital copy of Halo Reach still, backwards compatible for the Xbox 360. And so we played like the first level of Halo Reach. And a ton of shooters. Like I just haven't let him play shooters up to this point. But he's played enough of games in general that he picked it up like real easy, and he was real good at it. And so we played maybe a half hour, 45 minutes, and now that's all he wants to do. Dad, when are you going to be home so we can play Halo Reach some more? Dad, can we play Halo Reach tomorrow? Hey, do you think we could play Halo Reach at all this week? Like what day? It's like, oh my goodness, buddy. Okay, chill. We'll get to it. How much does Halo Reach Halo the Master Chief Collection cost? Can I get that? Can I get that game? Can we play through that game? Can we play all those games? And that's all that's on his mind. So we played some of that. And then as Dave mentioned earlier in the podcast, I did play a very little bit of Battlefield 1. I think I played 2 Conquest matches Sunday night. And it took me a while. It didn't take me a while. I love that game. I played on the Xbox One, so I have that game on both systems. I have not progressed very far on Xbox One. I think I was only level 14. But I was like, you know what? I don't really have a ton of time, but I want to play something. And I really, 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 really still love Battlefield 1 a lot. That game is so much fun. I wish we had a group that played consistently. It is more fun when you have a group or a squad that can play together. But, man, I love that game so much. I played a lot of Scout, which is what you're the sniper. And that's where I did the little victory dance that Evan was not a fan of. But that game is just a ton of fun, and I really enjoy it. I could play it for hours. So Battlefield 1. So that's all I played this week. I don't know. I started Iron Fist, so I don't know what I'll be able to do tonight. I mean, I want to play something, but if you don't play something, I'll probably end up getting stuck there for 4 episodes. So
I finished Iron Fist.
I like it so far.
A lot of people kind of knocked on it. I liked it. I mean, it's, in my opinion, so far, it's the weakest out of the Defenders group. But I am looking forward to the Defenders. I've seen the trailer.
Starting some promo.
Yeah, it's looking cool.
It's very good.
But it's still Iron Fist is cool. It's just, it's got a strange story. Like I don't know anything about that comic line series. Like I don't know anything about him.
Sure.
So, but it's interesting, and it takes some cool turns, and it's cool how it's cool to see it intertwined with, both Daredevil and Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. But it feels like they just they didn't have the. I don't know if it's because it relies more than some of the other ones on like the special effects, but like the budget
wasn't quite
limitations kind of show through sometimes. Like there's some weird things that happen. It's like, seems like they could have done this better, like Disney and Marvel. Like it's just, surprising. But the story, I liked it. I mean, obviously I binge watched it, so it kept my attention. So,
yeah. Cool. Well, those are the games that we've been playing lately, which brings us into our last segment. Dave, you have something to add?
No, I was just doing this with my fingers.
Oh, okay. Well, this brings us into our last segment, Game Scoots 20 Questions.
Guys, go!
I've chosen the game this week And Dave and Josh are going to successfully guess this game.
Yes,
Chad,
definitely.
Yeah.
in this game, does your character speak either audibly or through text bubble?
Response is yes, but I'm trying to think for sure. Yeah, no, he does. They do. They talks.
Wait a second. Repeat your answer.
Yes.
We got there was so much information in just that one answer.
He said
It's a
that
male protagonist,
they
Dave.
do and they do, and they.
He was like, yeah, he does.
Well, I
They
tried to use every pronoun available so as not to offend.
Sure. Okay. All right, Chad.
Yeah, that's me.
Do you no, I'm gonna go a different direction here. Is this a third person video game?
Yes.
Is this based on a licensed property?
Not licensed, no.
Is this game part of a franchise?
Yes.
Is this franchise playable on current gen? A game in this franchise.
Yes.
Good call, Dave. All right. So your character speaks either audibly or in text bubbles. And a game in the franchise is playable on current gen. Is this an RPG?
Yes.
Okay, so if there's a game playable on current gen, there is Final Fantasies playable. There is, well, I'm Setsuna. Is that a series? Is that a franchise? Is that a?
I honestly don't know enough about that game to know if it's a one-off or connected to anything else.
I think it's one off. Chad, is this in the Final Fantasy series franchise?
No.
Okay, what other RPGs that you can play on current gen?
I mean, there's The Witcher, there's Zelda, there's
Is Zelda considered a role-playing game?
I think it could be.
Yeah, but by genre though?
Maybe it is more adventure.
Definitely Witcher's one. There was one I was going to say that for some reason I
Diablo is like a dungeon crawler RPG.
This is weird. I mean, but in the Mario, well, there's not a Mario game on Switch. I was going to say there's a Mario RPG, but in the franchise would be Mario, but there's not a Mario game on the Switch, which is current gen. So it's not that.
We don't know when this game came out, right? We didn't establish that. Chad, did this game come out after January 1st, 2010?
No.
Okay.
It came out before
January 1st, 2010.
So did it come out after January 1st, 2000?
Yes.
All right. So 2000s game, RPG with a game playable on current gen. Not Final Fantasy though.
Right.
Chad, do you kill things with a sword in this game?
Yeah.
Okay. So that still leaves us The Witcher.
Yeah, but
That's 10.
Are we? There was that whole he and they thing. As far as
Don't read into that. Like, don't make that anything.
Is this in the Witcher franchise, Chad?
No, it is not.
Swords RPG. There's no Fire Emblem game currently playable on the Switch, right? There's one coming, but it's not
Fire
out yet,
Emblem
right?
Comes out tomorrow, I think. Right? Is that what we're looking at? Fire Emblem Echoes. Oh, that's for 3DS. That's not Switch.
I think I
yeah,
saw
there
one
is one coming
announced,
for Switch,
but I don't think it's out yet.
Yeah, there is one coming to Switch. It was just not.
So it probably wouldn't be Fire Emblem. Chad, do you Dragon Age is another one. Chad, do you now that I remember Dragon Age is a thing, maybe I don't want to ask that question. Is this part of the Dragon Age franchise?
No.
Dang it. I was going to ask Dave if you form a party or if you mainly kind of just play by yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, the Elder Scrolls is another franchise in which you can play a current gen RPG. I'm trying to think of other RPGs that have swords on current gen.
Eliminate The Witcher, eliminate Final Fantasy. Did we go down the Diablo route?
No, I just kind of threw it out. Like I think Diablo is considered both a dungeon crawler and an RPG, but I think maybe primarily a dungeon crawler. It's definitely also an RPG, but I don't.
He did say not to read into what he said. So, like, me reading into what he said makes me think there's multiple characters. But then him saying don't read into that makes me think he doesn't want us to think there's multiple characters.
Yeah, maybe. I would have just gone off his initial response, which was he. But
so what about Bloodborne?
Oh, I didn't even think. Yeah, those are RPGs for sure. Yeah, that didn't even register for me. But like the Dark Souls, the Souls
Dark
games,
Souls
it's the Souls franchise.
Right.
Yeah, Bloodborne is the current one. Dark Souls 3, I think, is also on current gen. Dark Souls 3 is definitely on current gen, and Bloodborne.
But it's the
Souls.
You do use a sword.
Yeah, not in Bloodborne, but that didn't come out in the 2000s anyway.
Well, do we want to ask that? What question are we on?
This will be 13.
Should be, 13.
Is this in the Dark Souls franchise?
No.
Bah! Thought we had it there. I thought that was going to be it. All right.
Third person. Your character talks, either speech bubble or words. It's a franchise. It is playable on current gen. It's an RPG between 2000 and 2010. Kill with a sword.
I don't know, Dave. I feel like anything Elder Scrolls that's too.
Focus
We've done
more
that a lot.
on. We tend to focus a lot when we say current gen on the current gen versions of the games that we've picked. Focus on the time frame where this game is picked, not necessarily
Focus more on the 2000s.
current gen. You know what I mean? Because I think even looking back in a couple we've done that I've done, it's like when we find current gen, we run our minds through everything that's playable today on the system, trying to find what that other game could be. And I think we distract ourselves, or we can.
Yeah, you may be right. I mean, they're like, so again, in the Elder Scrolls, there would have been Oblivion. In the 2000s, there also would have been Diablo. In the 2000s, there would be I'm having a Devil May Cry. I feel like those were RPG-ish. Maybe not so much.
Devil May Cry.
Maybe they just had some RPG elements. I remember Devil May Cry 4.
Is there a current gen one franchise?
A little. That you can play DMC. You can play Devil May Cry DMC.
Too. I forgot about that. That makes it always.
Yeah, like I've got DMC on my PS4 right now. It wasn't originally released on current gen.
So what about the Elder Scrolls?
Well, Elder Scrolls would have been in the 2000s would have been Oblivion, and maybe Morrowind. Chad, is this game in the Elder Scrolls franchise?
No.
Gosh. Doggone it. Sword. What about what about a lightsaber? Would that count as a
It's not
sword?
a licensed property, not based off a licensed property.
Oh, yeah. Good call.
So we haven't determined where this specific game is actually played yet. We're assuming maybe we're assuming maybe it's got to either be PS2 or PS3 era, meaning Xbox 360 or Xbox original. And we don't know if it was an exclusive or any of that stuff. We gotta we asked all these weird questions. Too many of those weird questions.
That's true. I mean, 2000s would also include the tail end of PlayStation and like Nintendo 64 too.
I'm just not drawing a blank on everything right now.
Ninja Gaiden? There's not a game playable on current gen for that though.
No, but
I don't
think of. What about an Assassin's Creed game?
Yeah, swords is a thing.
Is that like an RPG? It's got to be.
It's got RPG elements for sure.
I guess it's.
You're definitely leveling up and gaining skills.
It's not based off licensed property. He did answer that. I always read into stuff, but he did say he did answer it kind of weird, but that doesn't really mean anything. It's not based off the movie, but there is a movie based off the game. Chad, are you an assassin in this game?
No. No. I
It's
mean,
not that.
no.
Oh man.
It could be a Lord of the. Well, it's definitely licensed property.
Yeah. What about Oh no. Not so much with the swords.
Splinter Cell is off a licensed property. Tom Clancy's is a licensed property. That's not really RPG. It's more stealth, anyways. Metal Gear games. Those are RPGs.
Oh, that Metal Gear Rising Revengeance.
With a sword,
You use a sword the whole game.
chopping
a
up
good game,
melons
too.
and stuff. Do you play as Raiden?
Yeah.
Like animatronic, right? Not animatronic, but
Yeah,
robotic
like
looking.
Cyberman.
Is there anything that we've asked already that would eliminate it?
I don't think so.
It's just in the Metal Gear series, Chad.
No.
Oh
That was
boy.
question 16.
All right.
You guys are asking a lot of franchises here.
All right.
The last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions have been franchise questions.
Man. RPGs in the 2000s that are not Final Fantasy or Elder Scrolls
Or The Witcher,
or The Witcher.
Dragon Age, or Dark Souls, or Assassin's Creed, or Metal Gear.
Goodness. RPG.
Chad, can you? Is this, whether it's couch co-op or online, can you play this with another person?
No.
All right. Not Diablo. Man.
So
Chad, is this a turn-based RPG?
No.
Not Valhalla Knights, not Fire Emblem.
I mean, so maybe it could be a Zelda game, and we just eliminated it on our own.
So this is 19. You have a question and then a guess each.
Maybe it is a Zelda game, and we just was like, no, it's an RPG.
Yeah, it's possible.
Without asking if it's a Zelda game, is there another question we can ask that might eliminate Zelda and help us figure something else out? Like, can you ride a horse, or can you play a flute? I guess the flute thing wouldn't help anything else.
I mean, I can't, like, even the horse thing, I can't think of another RPG that would help eliminate for me.
Chad?
Yeah.
Does your character at any point in the game ever wear a green tunic?
It's uncertain. Maybe.
It's not Zelda, but does that mean you can't see your person?
No, it probably just means there's all kinds of outfits you can get.
It's third person. That was question number 2.
Probably just means
somehow I
you
missed
could
that.
equip whatever.
You can equip whatever. So like
Fable? Dave?
there's not a well, you could play it backwards compatible. Yeah. I mean, that's definitely an option. Well, I don't think your character speaks, and I don't think in speech bubbles either. I guess you shouldn't hang it all on that though, but I don't think you do.
You definitely interact with people.
Yeah, you do. They talk to you a lot. A whole lot.
There's like man, I wish I could remember it better. There's definitely instances in which you have to make a choice on how to react to situations and stuff, but I can't remember for sure if you talk or not.
Yeah, I don't think it's dialogue choices. I think it's always like
actions
what you choose to do. That is something I didn't think about though, but for some reason I don't think that's it. With that, because of that question.
Yeah.
Could be wrong though. So that was just 19 that I asked.
That's correct. Each have a guess.
Jeez. What are we missing, man? What are we missing, man? Secret of Mana? There's nothing. Wait a second. Did those Japanese versions of that come out yet? No, they've just been announced. They didn't come out yet for the Switch.
I'm trying to think of any any of those like established but less well known, at least for us, RPGs. Dragon Quest? I don't know anything about those games.
Dragon Quest. Oh. Yeah, I didn't play any of those except for Builders.
I'm at a loss here.
We got what? Yeah, me too. I mean, if you don't think of anything, you could always guess Fable because maybe I'm wrong about that.
I'm just gonna throw it out. Chad, is this game? Yeah. All right, wait. I got to choose the right one though because there's several. In the 2000s, Fable.
It's not gonna be Fable 3.
2. Did Fable 3 come out after 2010?
I don't remember.
Chad, is this game Fable 2?
No.
Remember when Chad said we were going to successfully guess?
He thought we were going to get this one?
Yeah, way at the beginning.
I did.
He said now Josh is going to successfully guess.
It's just, are we going to be really disappointed if we don't get this one?
You might be.
I think we're always disappointed no matter what it is. Chad, remind me.
Yeah.
The important questions that we've asked that are important to this game.
Okay, well, how about third person. You can play on a current gen. It is an RPG.
You can play it on current gen?
You asked
question, but
you're right. How did you ask it? You asked.
I asked, is there a game on the franchise
playable?
But
don't read into that answer. You asked after 2000, kill with a sword. Things that it's not. Green tunic, maybe. I don't know. I mean, those are, yeah. And your guess is?
There's a game playable on current gen, but that's not the game he's talking about in the franchise. You might have a tunic on, which means or you might be able to, which means there's options.
All right, man. I'm pulling a Damon. Let's go here. If you got an answer, give it. If you don't,
is this Mario Galaxy? I don't know. I have no game.
No, it is not. The game is...
You're breaking up big
Can you
time. I
hear me?
haven't heard any of that stuff.
Yeah, didn't hear you.
That's disappointing. Fable 1.
Oh no way!
my gosh!
I
Come
thought
on!
you were going to have it. I thought you had it.
Oh,
I mean, you had the aha moment at the
gosh.
last possible minute and then guessed the wrong one. You never asked about sequels.
Yeah, no, we
There-
didn't.
You can use
This-
guns in that game as well. You wear different clothing. He
Yeah.
doesn't like you don't have dialogue options, but you do make choices. He has a speech bubble. He'll say they have emotes where he'll say like chicken chaser, and he'll
Yeah,
do little
that's true.
things like so. He doesn't have a full dialogue, but they will have. There is speech and talking in there. Third person, first party exclusive. You didn't mention exclusives,
There
but they
is
never
speech
asked
and-
the question.
There's speech and talking?
Characters talk the most, but they have the character you play has emotes where he'll do like little. He'll say one word or he'll say something here or there, but there's
So he
not
does
like
say
full
words?
dialogue. Yeah, or mumbled words. I don't remember exactly.
I
It's
thought
been a
he
long
just-
time.
yeah,
but
I thought he just like made faces and stuff like that. To me,
he
he's not
does say
talking.
some things.
I feel like I remember him making like verbal, like at least
It's not
noises
like
here
it's
and
not
there.
like
Debatable.
Mass Effect. So
But-
anyway,
Man, so close.
you talked about exclusivity, but they never asked the question.
Yeah,
That
this was a
may have
weird one
helped
because
you
we
if you
didn't
knew.
nail down like time period until later. We didn't nail
It
down
was-
console. We didn't nail down like so many things that we usually do early. We didn't do
You
this
got
time.
RPG early, you got third person early and franchise, but then there are a lot of franchise questions, which is odd for us as far as part of this franchise or this franchise. Just we're going through all the RPGs in your mind. And then I believe all three of them are playable on backwards compatibility.
That would make sense.
Man, lots of
Man, so
lots of
close.
people on these message boards
What's that?
saying he does not talk at all.
So would you have got it?
He does
then
not talk
if
at
I had
all.
said no, they
In the
don't?
first or second chapter, but in the third, he will indeed talk. First two fables had a mute main character, which was a bummer.
My answer was, I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So if you think you would have got it, had I said no
Nobody
to talking,
laughs.
then
He laughs. See,
I don't
this
think I
one
would've
person
gotten
says you get the occasional grunt or yeah. And if he does say yeah, then I might
from you-
accept that.
Fable games were so much fun when you could choose, and you didn't bring up like dialogue options or making choices. You could make evil or good choice, and your appearance would change
Yeah, that
depending
was
on
cool.
how you treated people.
Turn it like a demon and stuff.
So I played those games. I love those games. The franchise is up in the air as far as what may happen. Phil Spencer did recently say that we may not have seen the last of Fable, which would be great if we got a modern day Fable game. Oh, they're so good.
As much
But-
as I determined to play those games and be good and keep my karma good, I always ended up the evil looking like
Yeah,
weirdo because I just couldn't help
taking
myself.
the
I would always do
chickens
this.
and stealing
Yeah,
stuff.
I'd always
Like
do
you
the bad
steal
stuff.
Huh? What happened?
combat system, the shooting and the sword play and all that. The mana, you can do magic spells.
Yeah.
It was a real good game, real cool. So
Yeah.
All right. Well, we didn't do it, but don't worry. Next week,
Close.
don't you worry. That's going to do it for episode number 118 podcast. We do appreciate listening as always. Thank you for being here, whether listening or watching on YouTube. You guys are the best. Head over to patreon.com if you'd like to help support us, gain another entry for the PlayStation 4 giveaway. If you want to win this PlayStation 4, you only have a couple weeks left to screenshot your subscription and your rating on iTunes. Even if you've already done both those things, page and take a real quick screenshot and send it to us. It gets you an entry. That's literally all you have to do. It'd be simpler unless I did it for you.
That's right.
Win a PlayStation 4. God, we're trying to give away a PlayStation 4. Act like you care. Okay? Great. All right. Thanks for listening. As always, you guys are the best. Good night, everybody.
Okay, bye.
Pizza.
YouTube, Jordan. Thanks for being along. Jordan guessed it at like question 9. That's not really true, but he was trying to give you guys suggestions on questions to answer or to ask rather. Yeah, but we didn't get it. Sorry, Jordan. See you next week.
Next time.